You've been giving life, every teardrop, every smile. Nature's more than butterflies. Carry the world 1,000 times, and I'm hopeful that someday you'll see what I more than worthy of molding a nation. Take off your crown on most days, but there's a halo there and it's gonna stay. It'll stay. For everything depends on you, woman. You're more than worthy of molding a nation. And you're more than worthy. I wanna be shining your crown. Do you know you're more than worthy? You're more than beautiful, you're more than powerful to me.
I am unstoppable.
I am confident. I am limitless.
I am a strong woman. Be proud of you. Be bold. Be brave.
You are enough.
You are valuable.
You are capable.
You are phenomenal. Be you.
You are fabulous.
You are dynamic.
We are worthy.
More than worthy of molding a nation. I wanna be shining your crown. More than worthy of making a nation.
Anai, 89.9 FM in Ituni, Maruka, and Port Kaituma, 98.9 FM in New Amsterdam, and 99.9 FM everywhere else. Also, remember you can join the conversation on WhatsApp. That is at 600-8343, 600-8343. And you can even join us on the World Wide Web on our stream, our live stream, www.edu.fm. That is EDYOU.FM. And you can also watch our lovely faces on Facebook, on our Facebook Live. The Facebook page is EDYOU.FM, EDYOU.FM. You are locked to the Women Empowerment Program, and we're here for the next 2 hours to share information to educate, elevate, and empower all of you listening. And we hope you will pass on the information as well. Martina, how are you? How was your weekend?
I'm full of energy. I know you came in and you're like, your energy is down. Before I came, I made some dragon fruit smoothie with bananas, and I added a bit of lemon juice to it, and a little bit of sugar, and it was perfect. And I feel perked up. It's like a superfood.
Okay, but I just listening because she bring on for me, but it's cool, it's cool.
Next time I make, not everybody likes these things, you know. Some people are like,
but you didn't give us the option to decline it. So
you know, since we've been hanging out, I've never seen you drink a smoothie.
Yeah, I don't like
ordered a smoothie.
I don't like fruit.
It's always a soda
or vegetables. I don't like fruits or vegetables. I'm forced
Listeners,
to indulge.
we do not support that sort of behavior.
I'm forced to indulge.
We would like you to drink juice, eat fruits, eat vegetables.
Dude, you know what my son did just now? I was having a club sandwich, and I took out all of the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the lettuce from it, right? And I put it aside. This child came and picked up my stuff and eat it out.
Because you've always been giving him that, and he eats it, and I like that.
He loves vegetables and fruits.
Thank God
and
he's not learning what he lives.
Yeah, but I'm
what he
forced
sees
to eat
you
it
doing.
because he refuses to take junk food. Anything fried is junk food for him, right? So he refuses nuggets and stuff. I don't have it easy. He can't. He doesn't want to take it to school. He tells me it's junk food. He's not gonna eat it. You gotta give him his rice.
But you taught him that.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's a good thing. But like, oh God.
And it's good. It's good because right now I'm
up.
battling with Victoria and chips. I mean, she's 2, and she is connected to Pringles. And when you ask about weekend, whole weekend, she's asking for chips, chips. That's her new thing she's discovered. So I am battling with her to replace chips with like a carrot or mango or apple or something. Right now, it's just chips. So, and she knows about KFC now. So when we pass, she's like, "Mom, KFC."
KFC, yeah,
I'm like,
that's it.
No, that's not for you. That's
No.
not for you.
My child goes to the supermarket and picks up strawberries. Yeah, he wants that.
Man, the expensive
All the
ones.
expensive blueberries, raspberries, all of them berries.
Yeah, I pick them up. I like them. And
Yeah.
they make excellent
He's the only one that eats
smoothies.
them. I let him take it to school. He can eat in the
They
morning
make
for
excellent
breakfast.
smoothies, and I like smoothies. Sometimes you might just have it for breakfast. So
Yeah.
it gives me that perk, that energy to start the day.
I guess my
and-
taste buds just grow up a little bit.
Talk about weekend. We had something planned for the weekend. Our little photo shoot. That was Friday, actually. And then the rain ruined it.
Yeah.
And then we've been working on music, another original song, which
Big
you
things
guys
are
will hear
gone.
soon. Big things are gone for Mother's Day. And what else? What's happening? I don't remember
We-
what else. Oh, basketball. That's like the thing in my house.
But your
Yes.
house is, other than Victoria and Victoria's a child, like a baby. There's all guys, so I can imagine how
But
noisy
I
it
like
is.
basketball too. And right now, so Leslie, I hope you're watching. I'm going to check the Facebook Live and see. So this is what he did last night. He took, again, it's full of mosquitoes. So we got mosquito net down in the room. And he took a blanket and blocked half of the bed. Like, I'm sitting up, can't see the TV, blocked half of the bed so I can't see the basketball. And he said, I'm going to put you on Facebook so people can see. This is what happens when your wife supports Lakers. Well, y'all get beat last night, GSW. Lakers is 3-1. One more to go. But he didn't bother to post it on Facebook because he would have had egg on his face. So, but it was a good game. Great
Well,
game.
it's good to have some competition in the house.
Yes. Oh my, that always happens every time because I'm ride or die Lakers, like Amazon Warriors. I think that's time to give that one up.
Never. We supporting Warriors to death.
Well, let's talk about some.
Except Ashwini.
That's why I say let's talk about something other than what will get us into chicken curry chicken.
Because yes, those
discussion.
are fighting words. Those are
How
fighting
was
words.
your weekend? What did you do after our plans didn't come through?
I went out with a friend to celebrate her birthday, and then after our plans didn't go through because of the rain on Friday, but I ended up doing some additional chores, but I did them, and yeah, that was it. I slept. That was
No
it.
exams this weekend. Didn't have any exams.
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I have
Sometimes you
another.
need
I
a
have
little
one
break.
on Thursday though.
Okay.
That's my last one for this week.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a little break.
Yeah,
that's
I
why you
remember
feel
I was
tired.
complaining about the algebra stuff, right?
Yes.
Well, algebra finished. I got a 93% overall, right? But
Drum roll.
financial accounting starts on May 15th.
No,
it's like-
it's not as bad as algebra.
It's one after the other.
It's English.
I
It's
don't
plain.
like
It's
numbers.
plain English.
I don't like calculating. Anyways,
No man, this one is plain English, and if it's anything that I think that is gonna be, then they're gonna start teaching you to use QuickBooks and managing your finances.
well, I know that.
and
This
so
this
on.
this small
So
small
it's
stuff.
it's
If it's basics,
English.
I get that.
Yeah, it's English. I call it English, but algebra.
That
that's
was
a whole other language.
yes.
Yeah, like
But I was so proud of myself. So overall, my total was 93%. So all the complaining and
we have to get you some cake.
agreed. Ice cream
Yes,
cake
we
though,
get you
'cause,
some
you
cake,
know,
fruit cake.
we'll posh up. No fruit cake.
A whole basket of fruits.
I
Like
just
a
share it
cake.
out with everybody.
That's the idea. So you eat all yourself. All right. So we already have in studio our first guest for tonight. And as we proceed into the program, we're going to share some inspirational stories with you throughout the night. So thank you once again for staying tuned to the Women Empowerment Program every Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. on 99.7 FM. What I'm going to do at this time is introduce our guest, Lloyd.
Hi, good night.
Are you listening? I see you just so focused. And
No, I'm listening.
all right, so we have our first guest in studio. We have Lloyd Thomas, and we also have Miss Alicia James. Miss Alicia James is the current, or I should say, the reigning Miss Cultured Guyana pageant winner, and Mr. Lloyd Thomas, he is he is the founder of this pageant, which came into existence in March 2016, and it was under the stewardship of Lloyd and the Arts Production. At that point when the committee was formed, it comprised of 5 cultured persons, and they were tasked with planning and execution of the inaugural pageant. So those individuals who were part of the task force, I would say, the planning committee, they're Sylvester McCrae, Miss Lisa Adams, Miss Faye Caleb, Miss Alicia Best, and of course, Lloyd Thomas. How can you do it without Lloyd? And then during the months of planning, the pageant developed its diverse meaning, which was set to be executed. When was that? On June 16, 2016, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the coronation was held then, and not the Queen's coronation, not the King's coronation, not the one that we had
The royal family.
with the royal family. All right. And so that pageant had 7 contestants. And of course, these young women were exposed to various cultural activities, because that's one of the things that the pageant wants to promote or seeks to promote, exposure to cultural activities such as educational training programs. And these were designed to revive their knowledge about Guyana's culture. And they also had training sessions on cultural topics. So my first question to you, Lloyd. Okay, first of all, I forgot. Please greet our guests. I know you do this every Saturday, but
Good afternoon, everyone, and I trust that everyone is doing fine. And we're here on the live, so just feel free to reach out to us, say hello.
and Lloyd
check in
is
the
no
live.
stranger. Lloyd is the Gen Z Saturday morning
Correct.
guy.
So be sure to join me out.
Yes, every Saturday you can join Lloyd on Gen Z Vibes right here on EduFM. But
Another
that's a
woot.
morning program. All right, so yes, Lloyd, what inspired you to start this pageant?
Okay, so it's always been my dream to empower teens, and I know that we are far away from empowering men, and that's a work in progress. But you have to research to get there. But I really do think that our women folk, they need the empowering, because they're actually the childbearers. They're the head of the homes. They're the strongest set. I would say the strong agenda in society, because how they operate and how they manage stress and all of that, it's really commendable.
I feel he's just appealing to our egos right now.
And so I think that we need to do a lot of work with them. And at the time, 2016, that was a year you had a lot of murders and suicide and all of that happening, and our teens went astray. And so I felt as though that I should do something to assist in pulling back society to where it should be. We know that it is an evolving society, so that's how the concept came about.
Building confidence.
Yeah, and so I found like-minded persons, and we developed a committee, and we began planning the pageant.
But tell me something though, Alicia, you did the pageant. I know he talked about building self-esteem and empowering individuals and so on. How does it feel, or how did it feel for you going in front of a number of people you don't even know, and you're going to be judged positively and negatively? And what did it do for you coming out of the pageant?
Well, first of all, good evening, Guyana. Growing up, I was extremely quiet. Like, I would be in a room and nobody would know that I was there unless they look. So I figured that pageants would be a good way to bring out everything that I know that I have inside. But being on stage is best if you don't think about it, because the more you think about it and the more nervous you get, then crazy things happen. So
Your nerves.
you just don't think about it. Go have fun and enjoy the moment. Live
And that's
in
what
the
it was for
moment.
you.
Yes, that is exactly how it was. Just had fun the whole night.
And when the pageant was over, what did you feel? Of course you won, so you'd be elated, but what did you feel in terms of your emotions when you reflected on the journey? What were the different feelings you had?
Well, I finally understood why they all cried.
So
Happy
tell us.
tears, though. Happy
Yes,
tears.
happy tears. It was so emotional. It's like all of the hard work that you put into everything is not just, as I would say, it's not competing against other people, but it's competing against yourself, your past self, and your present self to present the best version of yourself on pageant night. And that is who wins the pageant.
I like how she put that. I like how she put it. One day I might go into a pageant, but it have to be like a Mrs. something or a
There are many.
mother's
There are many.
or a
Mrs. things.
mother's something because I don't qualify for the
There are
regular
mother and
ones.
daughter pageants and stuff.
I know, but Victoria's so young.
Okay,
I've
that
thought of
makes
it.
her.
The
That's
junior
that's
category.
winning.
I've thought
Right?
of it. No, she's 2. She's gonna run away and leave me on the stage. She's gonna want to slide and do splits and yeah.
What that'll be more appealing. You win for sure.
and then she's gonna start talking her own thing. We're not going to get to
So
any
she's-
segment.
She's versed in other languages. Okay.
I was thinking like maybe in 2-3 years time.
Yeah, she should be.
Yeah, she'll be ready for the junior category. I've thought about it.
And then
Yeah.
y'all can do mid category and then senior category.
Yeah, keep it going.
I'm gonna be so old by then. For senior category, I'm gonna be like 60.
Listen, girl, you'll be hot at 60.
So
Okay.
I think once the child reaches 16 or something like that.
Oh yes,
into
yes.
the senior
15.
category.
That's why I can't wait that long. I'm
No, but
almost
you
60.
can do all three. You know, because I know of people who entered the junior and they were also with their parent in the senior in the same year.
Yeah, that's if they had them young. Like, you know.
It's never too late, don't worry.
At least you know her goals. Okay, we'll be there to
We'll
support
have
you,
the-
right?
we'll
Yeah,
do the
I have that
junior.
place card.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We'll do the junior and the middle. I thought about it and I'm like,
Our placard will be, "You're not old."
you're as young as you feel. Thanks, man. I know you got my back.
And you know I would definitely have that on my placard.
I know. You're true to your word. Now, Lloyd, tell me something. When you were planning the first pageant, this was the first time you were actually involved in pageantry, by the way?
Yes, that was the first time. In
So-
terms of the whole concept and planning and everything.
So, when you were planning the first one, what were some of the challenges that you faced? I mean, you had your vision, but getting that vision and making it a reality is something different. What were some of the challenges you faced?
Right, so I looked at the creative entrepreneurial approach where I try as much as possible to see how this pageant would be authentic, different from the rest, because everybody has a pageant these days. But what makes your pageant stand out, that's important. And so I was there, I was sitting, I was voicing my brain. But then at that point in time, I was at the university and I was studying. And we had a course called Teaching for Cultural Understanding. And that course says that your language is never separate from your culture in order for you to learn. And I was doing my degree in Spanish. So we had to know the culture of the Spanish people in order to understand the language of itself. And so I said, you know what? I think I need a cultural pageant because I don't think enough is done and we shy away from it because we are moving towards this Americanized form of pageantry and this British form of pageantry, but we need to come back to Guyana. And so I planned the pageant. And interestingly, I added a segment called the introductory segment, and that segment is done in Creole. And so your introduction is done dramatically. It's like a performance, but it is done in Creole language only. So it's not the regular standard stand up and I hail from, no. You have to broke up your tongue, as people would say, and go back to that. And right there and then it was a beautiful experience. And it has always been that way because the delegates, you get to work with them. And so you break them away from this standard speech just for
you
the
make them-
introductory segment.
You make it comfortable or normalize Creolese
so
because that is
people
our
will
standard language.
Yeah, and so that people will understand. And, you know, some people would say, because sometimes you sit at a pageant, you listen to a girl do an introduction, and within the 20-word speech, you have 10 big words, and you're sitting there, you're trying to sort out the meaning. Some people cannot relate. If our literacy levels are different, then so bring it back.
To the common man.
Correct.
That'll be understand.
And so that's it.
But you know what? I think I need somebody to teach me Creole because
Proper Creole.
But it's
I
there.
can speak, let me put it this way. I can speak broken English. Like I can
Yes.
do bad grammar. It's saying things like, that's how we do it, that's how I like it.
Yeah.
that sort of thing, but like
and we-
actual Creole.
Yeah,
I
we
don't know.
misinterpret that to be Creole.
Correct.
But it's just
not.
broken English.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
But and when I was working with it, I can share what the experience I got with Alicia, because I had a delegate from Georgetown, and then I had her from West Side, and the difference in the dialect, you see it.
It would be fast.
You
yes.
have the city, which they have. I wouldn't say that it's English; it's a polished form of Creolese in the city. But where she's from, you get a different version, and like a Burbisha would bring a different dialect. So you have the changes, and it's so nice. It is so
It
nice
is-
when you sit to work.
It is. It sounds nice. So, do you remember your introduction?
I was
that
gonna
you
ask
did?
that. Yeah.
Partially.
Tell us what you
Give us a
remember.
little
Give our
something.
listeners an opportunity to experience it.
I know it had something about West Side is the best side. Of course.
Okay, but let's give you some time to gather your thoughts to come back and do that. Introduce yourself doing what you did at the pageant. What did you have a talent segment?
Yes, there
What
was a talent segment.
And what was your talent?
My talent was dancing. It had to be purely Guyanese based. So you had to either dance to a Guyanese artist or sing a Guyanese song or do a dramatic piece by some Guyanese persons. But I did a dance to, I think, Jackie Jack and somebody else.
That was Guyana.
Yeah.
And you had
That
to
was
wear
when
the
it was
cultural
hot.
outfit as well for your
Yeah.
whatever your presentation
Yeah,
is.
and they're heavily drilled on the talent, being that I'm in theater.
Mm-hmm.
While they are looking at the talent, I was focusing on a production. So yes, they have the talent that they have to perform for judges. I'm not a judge, but I ensure that whatever they're doing had to be of a certain standard, because remember, people are
Correct.
paying their money to come, and they're coming to see a performance. And so we ain't gonna allow you to go up there and shame yourself, because the pageant is not about body shaming or putting you at your worst. So I do whatever I can, and I give them tips. We had talent days, everybody had a separate days, and then they come together so they know how they're competing and who they're competing against. And that there builds camaraderie amongst them. So yeah, we had that, and it was really good. And they know me, when it comes to talent, I ensure that it has to be A1.
Near perfection.
And it's
Yeah.
good that you encourage them to put their best
Yeah.
foot forward, because
So I view that
rather
I
than
give
leave them to embarrass themselves.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I've seen that with a lot of pageants. The coordinators keep the pageants, and then they, just go through it, and then the delegates are on stage, everybody's laughing. And I'm like, this here defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
And at the end, you don't want to have a broken delegate, a broken young woman going out back, because you're supposed to come into the pageant and leave with something positive.
You know, when you say
Empowered.
that, I
Leave
remember
empowered.
I did entertainment news for quite a while, and I used to commentate for pageants and other carnival shows in Antigua. And I remember doing the JCs. That's the year that Alicia Best went into the competition in Antigua. And I remember doing commentary for JCs, and my co-commentators would make certain comments, and I would cringe because I'd always felt like, how could you say, oh, she's fat, or oh, she doesn't look good in the bikini, or how Tommy looks. So these are natural bodies, and I felt like the pageant in itself didn't do justice to the participants by exposing them in that way.
Correct.
Because to me, if you're doing a regional competition that is dealing with your culture, because they had a whole section on culture and so on, like, why put so much emphasis on a bikini body and toned legs and toned abs? And so, I think that should be left for a bodybuilding competition
Correct.
where it's focused on bodybuilding. But I enjoyed pageantry, and I always looked for the positives. So if somebody highlighted something that was negative about the performance, then I'd be like, but remember, she's probably nervous, because
Yeah,
imagine
you have
if
to
you
take
were
all-
there,
yeah.
you have to take so many things into
And I was
consideration.
saying that just today. I said, as human beings, we're often very critical of each other and not thinking how it affects the person. And then we make statements not knowing who is related
Reckless
to who.
statements.
And not
Yep.
just that, remember, like Alicia said, she was very shy, and she wanted to become more like an extrovert. So she was using this as a launching pad to her new extrovert ways. And then if she's facing really harsh criticism,
And not everybody
so on,
takes-
she goes right back into her shell. It's not. It's gonna do the opposite.
Not
of
everybody
what she
takes
wanted.
criticism as constructive. And
Not everybody gives it.
constructive. Yeah, right?
Because people, yeah.
It's not what
There's
you
a
say; it's
difference.
how you say it.
Correct. And then it comes back to, but I'm being honest. There's a difference between being honest and harsh or overly blunt.
Correct.
And so we as a society need to know that. Because, oh my gosh, sometimes I feel so bad for people. Like, in my opinion, if you have nothing positive to say about somebody, don't say it.
Listen,
Just stop.
after I had Victoria, nearly everybody I saw or who saw me,
Oh my God, yeah, you get fat.
yes,
Yeah.
because I was this 100-pound, never past 110, and
I wish I had my weight. I kept my weight. I lost everything.
And then everybody's like, you get fat. Look how you get big. It's how you get something. I'm like, guys, don't you think I know how I look and how
Yeah,
I feel and my clothes is not
that's it.
fitting like before?
Like,
Do
you don't
think-
need people to tell you things like that.
Yeah, I just had a baby. Give me a break. I'm not Beyonce. I don't have to perform for the world. I'm fine.
I remember when I had just like given birth for like 2 weeks after, I messaged one of my friends and I'm like, my tummy is still high. Like, there's nothing in here. It should be going down. I was freaking out. I was feeling very self-conscious. And she told me, she said, you took 9 months to form this child in your tummy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to go away by magic. Like, your body did so much. Give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Give yourself a break.
With my
and I
first
needed to
son,
hear that.
3 months, I didn't do anything, but I think because I was younger and I was athletic and very active, I reverted to skinny. And then with my second son, it was the same thing. But with Victoria, it took a longer time. And then it was also a cesarean section, so I had to pull back on exercise and lots of things. But at the same time, I was so body conscious because everybody you met literally, why your tummy so high? You don't get a baby yet? And the comments, even when you go to the banks. Anyway, that was fun. You go to the banks and the security would come.
I'm bringing you up to the
Oh,
front.
because you got.
Go to the front of the line, you're pregnant. And they're like, okay, no problem.
Yeah. You're owning
But
it.
they made me very body conscious.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't know what that does to you. There are people who would starve themselves to fit the look the society considers perfect. People still see me and tell me that, girl, you fat.
No, girl. I'm
not
telling
fat.
you, no, you're not.
I'm not fat, but there are times when these things get to you because you might wear a particular thing and think you're looking a particular way or wish you'd look a particular way. And then
Yep.
someone says something and really puts you down.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
just have to remember size doesn't matter as long as you're comfortable in who you are.
Yes,
But-
yes,
but-
Alicia.
and that's it. As much as sometimes you try to have that constantly in your head, it doesn't always work that way. There are days when you're just feeling really weak and then somebody just says one small thing about you. It's like, oh gosh, look, your hip dips. Like, okay, all right, I'm not wearing Magnus pants again. Like, things like that, right?
Yep.
You have a comment and then you move on. You accept that you were you.
I'm
You
like,
love
you
yourself.
know what I learned to do one time, but I don't do it anymore? When someone points out a flaw, I'll be like, oh my God, you saw that? And then they get my sarcasm and wouldn't do it again. But yeah, it was a thing, but it wasn't nice.
It was a period. It was just
It was a period, like, oh my God, like if they say you gained weight, oh my God, you saw that? I didn't even notice my pants were tight.
no, but at least that's still less intense than somebody who, when you point out a flaw, they find one in you and give it right there.
Yeah.
Like oh, you too.
Yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
like you're fat. Oh, you too.
Oh, that's petty,
And
yeah.
it's like,
It's like a take after you or something like that.
It's
Yeah.
like as the music left in shock and there's this awkward silence and then
Okay, moving
the
on.
end, yeah.
It's still had the same awkward silence where you say, oh my God, you noticed that? But yeah, coming back to the culture thing, you had enough time to think.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
want to
we're
hear this
doing.
introduction.
I honestly can't remember.
That was since 2019.
2019.
Yeah, remember you didn't have the
Yeah.
pageant
Yeah,
because of the
because of-
pandemic.
yeah.
I'm officially
Yeah.
the longest reigning queen.
Longer than the British Queen. She was there for a long time. But yeah, what was it like, your reign, the 1 year, the official 1 year?
It was taken over by Corona, sadly. And I had so many things that I wanted to do, but I still got to do them partially. Like, I wanted to bring awareness to the copyright laws of Guyana, which are very outdated, in my opinion. Bring more music classes into schools, because I believe that music is very important.
You
to
teach
our-
music?
No. No. I just see that we have so many artists coming up and we don't give them the proper training, the proper knowledge, the proper teaching in
Acknowledgement.
music. And you just come up, sing a song, consider yourself an artist. You don't have any backings behind it. So I wanted them to have more education in music, in notes, in instruments, in everything music related, even to the business side of it, and knowing your rights in music. And when you become an artist, you have this knowledge, you'll be better. We'll have better artists that will be internationally recognized.
Do you sing?
No, I can't sing.
Okay. Do you play an instrument?
I am not.
I'm trying to
musical
find the
at all.
So she's not musically
what
inclined. So where did the
motivates
passion
you?
come
dance.
from?
I
Yeah.
dance.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like music.
So do you dance at the National School of Dance?
No, I dance in church.
Okay.
Okay,
So you like
And I
music and you can
teach- I
understand.
teach dance in a church.
Oh,
But
nice.
I like music. Love the law. I want to be a lawyer very, very soon. But I wanted to merge the two and help people to know their rights in music and know that they have things that protect them. I didn't get to do all that I wanted to do. However, I did get to use parts of the Copyright Act in my master thesis in law this year. Yes, this year. So I'm
Nice.
very happy.
Nice.
So the passion helps in,
So you finish your LLB.
yes.
You're doing your master's. And
Just the LEC left.
and I was going to ask you, when do you plan to do the LEC? Have you already set your deadline for that?
Well, as soon as some kind person gives me 60 million, sure.
So for those who don't know, and you may have aspirations to become a lawyer, you have to do the LLB, which is the Bachelor's of Laws, and then the LEC, which is the Legal Education Certificate. That is done in St.
Trinidad.
Augustine,
Trinidad.
Trinidad. You can also do it in
Bahamas.
the Bahamas. And do they do it in Jamaica too?
Jamaica, yeah.
Yes, they do it in Jamaica, not in Barbados. Barbados, you do the first part and then you have to go elsewhere to do the LEC. Or you could do your master's in Barbados. But yes, so you do the LEC, which allows you to practice law.
Yeah.
So 16, yeah, I remember,
About
16,000.
million.
It's 15,000 US a year,
Somewhere around there.
something
yeah.
like that. I
Different
remember.
School, different price, but it's around there.
What school are you targeting?
Well, everybody goes to Trinidad, so
Okay.
that one is kind of the cheapest. Also, the
Well,
set.
now you know. If you didn't know, now you know.
Perhaps the government, you can go petition the government to give scholarships on that.
It's in the works. It's in the plan.
Good. Now tell us, you said you were motivated to do the pageant because you wanted to come out of your shell, and you also have the talent of dancing. Have you done any other pageants since, or do you have plans to do any other other pageants?
But I did 2 before.
Which ones?
Then Amstel, first runner-up. I did Miss Emancipation. Didn't place that one. But I do have aspirations of more mother and daughter pageant, hopefully, when I have a baby.
I'm like, hold on, you don't even have the child as yet. Like she doesn't
She will
even know if she's
utilize
gonna get
her
3 sons.
her experiences for good. Okay.
You know.
So after the mother
There,
and daughter,
there
I
should by
retire.
then there'll be a mother and prince.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They might make it father and son and just wipe her out.
I'll manage that.
My son's school has a mother and prince dance, but let's not get into that.
No, tell me something, Lloyd. For this year's planning, where are you with that, and what dates do you have in mind for the pageant?
All right, so just to let the cat out of the bag a bit, the pageant is scheduled.
That's why
to
you're
be-
here.
The pageant is scheduled to be on the 29th of July, and that's at the Theatre Guild Playhouse, starting time 8 p.m. We have 6 delegates that will be competing for the coveted title of Miss Culture Guyana 2023, and those delegates will be released to the public very soon. We plan to have a sashing ceremony, which is a small closed door event. Of course, it's ticketed, but we just want a small group
Audience.
of persons there, and the media houses. just to make the delegates feel comfortable and gradually release them into the public, because we don't want to go big and then, people will still be dealing with confidence issues and stuff. And so they'll be in for training very soon, and then we'll be preparing. Once our sashing ceremony occurs, 6 weeks after the pageant happens. So within that 6 weeks, we engage them in their different classroom sessions, because they do have classroom sessions on Guyanese culture. We do all the 6 races. They have different talks with different people. You have the various challenges and your preliminary segments.
So who is doing their interview segment training?
Their interview segment training is usually done as a group. We do it a part of when they do the catwalk, they actually do that part. But we have never separated it, because sometimes you have limited human resources and people being committed after they would have promised. So it's like, yeah, you promised me now, 4 weeks down the line, we're ready for you. And then you say, I have something to do.
It's not reliable.
Yeah.
So I'm pitching that I can help you out there.
Yeah, so I know that I have you guys here. So,
It's
it's
not
how many shows we have here? I think we come to one person each, right? But yeah, I want to prepare them for that. And I know that when it comes to media and answering questions, people have a way of learning things. And the delegates, I want them to be fully prepared so that they won't embarrass themselves on, national television or on a radio program. So gradually I bring them out and have them, but we are preparing for a packed 6 weeks.
Okay.
The fitness challenge will be open to the general public. Each delegate will have a team of 4 persons. Along with themselves, it'll be 5. And they will compete in novelty games. Our normal cultural games, salt bag, lime and spoon. They had lime and spoon, egg and spoon, needle and thread. You had the 100 meter, 200 meter.
Late for pageant.
So it wasn't, you've got to pull on a dress and do your makeup and run.
There's a lot of clothes and everything, scattered and
Where's that
tied
gonna
in a
be?
bundle. It was at the National Park. But this time we're going to keep it in form of a fun day. So everybody's, and we're going to merge 2 events. They normally would have their cultural cookout competition where they're given a menu 2 weeks before the date. And then they have to come and prepare it and serve it with a beverage, do the whole layout, everything.
Man, that
And
sounds
it's
like
outside.
a whole pageant
It's
experience.
outside.
Like,
It's a cultural
And
experience.
you have to light your fire and everything. You're allowed to have one person to assist you to set up the table while you burn your fingers.
Yeah.
So we're
that
gonna
sounds
do
really good.
we're gonna do the 2-in-1 this year, the fitness and the cookout. So they're gonna have their teams there, and each team will have a color, and we're gonna have a pack day. Plus, we're planning our scavenger hunt. Each delegate, the minimum amount of teams per delegate will be 3. Registration will happen, and we do the whole scavenger hunt around the city.
This is not a pageant. This is a.
It's a cultural experience.
This is an
It's a cultural experience. And so I would have developed that because I think that you need to have a cultural experience. Plus, we don't. Our criteria is very simple. Once you're between the age of 17 to 35, you can enter.
Man.
We have nothing against you having a child or children.
But 35?
Yeah, that's where we start.
Is that to
35.
exclude me?
All right, we get another hint there, right?
You know, right? Okay.
And even if you put it up to 40 next year, I don't qualify.
Well, for those persons, but it took a little, 5 days, 5 years off the calendar. So, but we have that. We have the what else we have? Oh, we're gonna remove the talent from pageant night because I realized that it stresses the delegates out.
And it takes up a lot of time.
And energy. And when they're finished, they still have to go and model that evening up and plus be in a mental framework to answer questions.
Yeah.
So we're going to make our talent night a separate segment, a separate event. And that's what we're going to work with. You have to be 100% Guyanese between the age of 17 to 35, be knowledgeable of culture, and you have to consider yourself a cultured woman. Because one of our questions before they join, we ask them, why do you consider yourself? And we don't do body shaming. It's not for us. We want to give, and there's some young ladies who may never be slim or petite, and they would want to enter a pageant. And I've seen them enter that very pageant, and we've had queens. We've had really queens, like girls who couldn't walk in heels, and at the end of it, I remember the 2018 queen For her life, she couldn't bake anything. She couldn't cook anything. When she did her cookout challenge, everything was black, right? She said the oil was too hot, but now
Just
she's
because
bringing
of that
she's
experience.
bringing cupcakes and showing me really good cupcakes. She
Oh
said
my
because
God.
she's now motivated to go into the kitchen and she's doing. So now she's making cupcakes.
Nice.
And
And they're
so-
not black.
I know, and she's making pancakes and all of that. And so I believe that it is moving, and they're having that experience. I think it draws them close to their culture, let them understand who you really are as a Guyanese person.
But do they have to do a menu on any particular ethnic or race?
Like a full-flown.
It depends
course.
on the theme of the pageant.
Okay.
In 2017, we had an Amerindian team.
This
And
year?
so this year we have a women empowerment business entrepreneurship team like.
He's been listening.
So our team.
So what are they gonna cook?
So I guess
They're
something.
gonna
that-
do mashed potatoes
something.
and
But
Cultural food.
the question usually comes from home economics teachers, and then
Oh,
we have
great.
the judges. They're home economics specialists.
Okay.
So they come. So it's not a random person coming. It's a person who know about food.
because I'm gonna tell them
And they
cook
would
scallop
ask you. They
potatoes.
ask you to research because you have to give a good presentation. Why you choose this, the nutritional value, and all of that. So yeah, they're given that opportunity, and then they still have to present it and stand in front there and have the suitable beverage. Like if, for instance, you cook curry, you would have to get something with citrus to go with it. So they would have to, So we had the Amerindian team. A girl made tuma pot, and it was really good.
I had tuma pot for the first
It was
time.
it was
on
really good.
Amerindian
I can't
Heritage
make
Day.
it, but
It's good.
she made it by the fireside, and it didn't. I don't know how the smoke and everything, and it was just really, really good. We had pancakes. We had some banana
Fritters.
So these people don't leave the recipe and stuff.
They have it. They have it.
So
but
we get to sample like if
yeah,
we.
yeah. I can invite the two of you.
Yes.
I can
Yes,
invite the two of you
yes.
to come and see it and see how it goes.
Let's
and-
try. Let's try.
A tree? Okay, good.
So, but I got a question for you. When you're doing all of this, where do you get the sponsorship from? All these things take money.
Well, I know that it takes money. The pageant is basically self-sufficient. Because of how we set our events should be able to garner the income, and from that we get the prize money, we get the logistics money. It's a thought process and a half, but you have to sit and you have to
Budget.
and you have to be tight on where you need to be tight, and then you can relax and stuff.
So, what are the prizes?
This year we plan on giving for the Queen $250,000 between cash and prize. I'm also seeking to see if I can have these business people out there, the business gurus, present the person who wins the business pitch with some form of cash grant so that she can begin her own business.
Okay, because you have this whole women entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I believe that we need to take that step forward. I know there are people out there that will be willing to assist, so I've started reaching out already.
So then, in the meantime, part of the pageant means that they're developing like a business
They
plan or
have to
something.
do that's a segment. It's a
Okay.
challenge. I think you won yours.
Yes, I won, and out of it, I started my own business last month.
Whoa!
Awesome,
Tell us about that
awesome.
business. That's
It's called
good.
Hype. It's a food stand, and I sell burgers and hot dogs, cheese please, chicken and chips, fish and chips, and in the future I'll have more items. But
What's your location?
it's on the west side, so if you
The
want to take
best
a
side.
trip to the west side,
What
And I-
part of the
then
west
I'm
side?
still.
Okay.
And I believe, and that was one of the aims, so that when they leave, they have the knowledge. That is being judged by business-oriented persons, and so they come in to do that. And it's a whole plan and a pitch with PowerPoint and everything. They have to create their portfolio, give us the hard copy. The people look at it, they grade it. It goes to it's a compound scoring pageant.
Man, this pageant's so hard.
And each one of them, they
I
have
mean,
their
you
own.
hear the fun elements, right?
They have their
score,
own
right?
It's like
platform.
assignments for school.
They have their platform, and they're asked questions on their platform, individualized platform.
Yeah.
So that for us, we would normally have to sit and weigh the questions to ensure that all of them, the weighting is
It's equal.
equal.
Yeah.
And then we give them it based on your platform, because your platform, you would have.
I
Plat-
like that.
Platform has to be something that relates to Guyanese culture. And we have the Big C culture and the Little C culture. The Big C would be the music, the art, the literature. and the religion, and then we have the literacy, like everyday norms or whatever you choose, and you structure it, and then you go.
And it's not some generic thing that you pull
Correct.
out.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
I've looked at pageants where they ask you what makes you smile, and you'd never expect that what makes me smile. Somebody tells a joke.
Correct.
And how do you say that answer wasn't the best? It's the most simple, straightforward, honest.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
perhaps everybody has that same experience in what makes them smile. So, like, I like that it's not one of those
Yeah.
I call it shallow questions, and they're asked something in relation to what they would have studied and what is familiar to them.
I think your own was on music,
Yeah.
something with the legal aspect of music.
What I would do if I won in regards to my platform, what would be the first thing I would do?
Yeah.
Which was to speak with the Minister of Culture, which I tried to do.
But you've got a new minister now. Try this one.
Speak to him and tell him of the importance of the Copyright Act in music.
Go with a nice proposal, like, you know.
Yeah. See, it's in the works. It's in the works.
Yeah.
That's why
I could see you doing that.
That's why the thesis is there. So as soon as I could publish it, I'll go and be like, here.
And you'll come back and
Suggestion.
tell us the outcome.
I will, definitely.
But I agree with you. Something has to be or should be done in that regard, because you see that Guyana has a lot of musical talent, people who write, produce, sing, and all of that. And we're not on the Grammys.
Yeah.
We're not getting awarded. It's like you see, Trinidad is doing really well.
Africa now.
But Africa, they've been doing well all the time. They've got their own version of the Grammys. We don't even have a
But
local.
now they're at the Grammys.
And
like
now
the
they're
American
at the Grammys.
Yeah,
And you see
winning
Jamaica
Grammys.
is doing the same thing. So we'd really like to see our artists get to that level. Perhaps we need to start there is a Caribbean soca and calypso competition. There's a Leeward Islands calypso competition as well. Perhaps we can have a Caribbean version of the
In
Grammys.
Guyana.
Yeah.
We can be the nation, the host nation.
That would be proper though. That would be proper.
Providing that we have the support, but
If we
again,
start
it comes down to how
Yeah.
we are critical with each other too. And so while we may want to start, the fight may be there too. So I
Other
think-
people might start their own thing.
No, our own people, they're gonna give harsh comments, and when you
Hey,
try
we
to,
can't look
yeah.
at the bad side. Let's see what the positive is. Because you know what? When they started the Grammys, I'm sure they had that.
And there's still negative comments about the Grammys and the people
And
and,
Grammys still
and
going on.
right?
Yes,
So,
people have got songs dissing the Grammys after they didn't win their awards.
yeah. So what are you gonna do? It's all traction.
True.
Yeah. But I think we can do it. They claim that the Grammys is global. But
Guyanese don't make it to the Grammys.
we've got a lot of talented people.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of talented
do.
people. Or marketing, advertising, or reach.
But I
and
think-
so
I
it's
think
all
rightfully-
part of it too.
The copyright law has a lot to do with it. Because people are scared to put their content out there. There's nothing that is protecting it, that is saying that
You can't use my stuff
Correct.
without
And-
my
Or
and-
pay me
yeah.
and so
And
on.
even
yeah.
if they use it, the reward or what you would get is like 20,000, 10,000.
The royalty.
The royalty is not very high. I mean, I've done work with people on music outside of Guyana and in Guyana. Like I said, we're working on an original song for Mother's Day, but I've never, and I should, but I've never given myself, I've never gotten writing credits on any of the songs I've done, worked on with people. I never wanted it. I always wanted to be not behind the scenes, but invisible. So I'd help write songs, or I'd write songs and I'd just give them because I just like writing. But if I were in a different environment, perhaps in the US where this is a huge money-making thing, then I might have had a whole different approach to it. I
Correct.
think that has to do with our music and copyright laws.
And
that
even
people-
if you don't want the money from it, you should still get credit.
Don't worry, this one I'll get my credit.
You're
Definitely.
performing in this one?
You'll know
Okay. Okay.
in time. I'm
When
not
you
there.
listen, you just listen for the voice.
Yeah. I
It's
might
not-
I might not know it, right? Because
No, we ain't auto-tuning anything. When you hear theirs too, you know.
Hold up, we're not on tuning it. So why you? So why you putting me voice in it?
Well,
Sure
it's all
sound good,
it's
don't
for
worry.
edutainment.
Girl, you only saying it because you never heard me sing.
It's for
I'd clear
edutainment.
this room so fast. Even my son, my 4-year-old, doesn't like when I sing.
Oh my
that bad.
God. Okay, let's come back to you, Lloyd. Why the Theatre Guild?
It's the only available area for now. I've tried the cultural center and I did not get it. I don't know if it's really booked out. There are a lot of events, and then I think that the Theatre Guild is much more intimate. It's a
And
small-
more cultural, although
Yeah.
the other one is called Cultural
Just
Center.
It's more cultural and more you get.
It's more associated with the arts and drama. And
Yes.
talking about drama, I did in our in our earlier conversation, I did ask you to share your thoughts and sentiments on your the years of teaching and interactions with Mr.
Corwin Mars.
Kerwin Mars.
So first off, condolences to the family. It was a horrific loss, and he'll be definitely missed in the teaching profession. I remember I had a student who was doing theater arts in 2015, and just this morning I was listening to the interview, the recorded interview that she did with him, and he was telling her that then he had 8 years in theater, and it was so much joy and fun, and his family supported him, and how he liked what he did. But he was basically more in slapstick theater, which was the comedy, and there was nothing to laugh about and stuff. And he said that he has always wanted to be in theater, and that's his personality. And I think that while some people may shy away from being a part of theater, theater is what made him who he is, because he was a strong teacher. Irregardless what people said, he can stand outside of a school and look at that building, and that entire building becomes quiet. Everybody knows Sir Mars, and they share one popular experience where one time he called an assembly, and the whole school get licked and they went back inside, and the school was quiet. And they're saying that he had energy for days. So,
because I know these schools don't have 200 and 300, it's more than that.
correct. And I remember one time we were at the cultural center, and he took the students from Multi there. And the cultural center, the rows are very long. And so he was sitting at the end, and the other students were waiting at the end, and he just looked forward like this, and then everybody pulled back, and then they were completely
It sounds like Wilfred's success.
And the other students from other schools respected him, and they were also quiet too. So, and he didn't say anything, he just peeped forward.
Whoa.
Because the students knew that when they go back to school, what it's going to be like. Right?
Everybody
Because
elbowing each other. Quiet,
And so
sir.
when he moved to St. Mary's, it was the same thing when he walked to school and stuff. So, yes, he was very he played a very integral role in the union also, the Ghana Teachers Union. I was telling them, I said, he's one of the members, the long-serving members that knew the song of the union. And they have a song. I don't know it, but he knew it very well, and whenever there was a strike or anything, he would sing it. And they can look forward to him being at the front of these movements and protests and stuff, and then he would sing the union song, and that was something commendable, because I never took time, and I'm part of the union.
I have
12
never
years,
learned it, and I was there for 4 years.
Yeah, there is a song, and so he knew that, and and he would encourage teachers, and he was big in sports. When it's nationals, South Georgetown, and he's big in sports, and he would carry his team, and he would say nobody should get Colgate because nobody can Colgate be fit. And so he had his moment of fun with the students, but then when it comes to crunch time and being strict, he also knew where to draw the line. So, for my, it's not a bad character working with, and then he had his personal life like everybody does.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, his life was bigger than what his personal life was, and for
correct.
me,
And he was known. Everybody knew Sir Mars.
Yeah.
Everybody knew him. If it's not in theater, it's that he taught some student, and so it was always in a positive light. And I know that he has left an indelible print in theater and in the sands of time generally. So I don't know how all of his friends and families would take it. A lot of persons they did not accept that the news was actually true.
Yeah, I
and
did
who
see
would have
that.
thought that was the way he's going to die? Nobody expected that. It was.
That was gruesome.
Yeah.
But I've never
You guys saw
met
the
him
video?
in.
Yeah, I saw the video.
let's not talk about that.
You never met
But
him
I
in
think
person?
that was very insensitive to put that video on social media. I do not think that
It
anyone
was
needed to
it
see
was
that.
removed shortly
Yeah.
after. It was put on there by a news entity.
It's there.
Oh.
It's there. Like
Really?
up to today, it's
Yeah,
there.
because the
Oh,
other
okay.
person that shared it. and-
Yeah, other people upload,
Download,
download,
yeah,
and
yeah.
reload and
Oh,
all kinds of
okay.
loads.
Yeah, 'cause
But
they
I
first
think
saw it
it's
from a news entity.
insensitive, very insensitive.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that, to be honest. Of their
There are
loved
some
one.
people who are very curious who want to see it, but I think it's really
Yeah.
insensitive.
And
But-
I told I was telling teachers, I said it comes back to us, society.
Humanity is
we are-
lacking.
We are failing
Mm-hmm.
our fellow human beings, and parents and teachers. Even though I'm a teacher, sometimes we fail to have talks with children. Anger management is something that is not really taught in school.
That's true.
They just it's not taught. They just discipline you for whenever you retaliate or you
They
have this
discipline you in
outburst.
a way that would make you angry.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
more
Yelling
ang-
at
and
you,
then will-
embarrassing you.
and you will hate them for life. You grow up more. So it's not like if we have sessions where because
Sort of
just
counseling.
like
You could
adults
ta-
needs
Sort through your
Teach them
thoughts,
to
your feelings.
rechannel,
yes, they're
and
not
to
teaching us that.
calm down, and
They're not
and
teaching
so
and adults too. We have our own problems and some may be inflicted from childhood and we've not yet gotten over it, and
That's
so it's
true.
very hard for us to move forward and not be angry.
And then we project that onto other people. Like
Yeah.
I've been in the media for quite a while, and I've carried stories where people were killed because of $100 for a loaf of bread, for a wheelbarrow
For
of
a
water.
$20
For a
somebody-
mango.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, these are not normal things. This is like really bad anger issues,
Yeah.
and we're projecting it on the wrong people. And I don't know, when you expect the most compassion, you get the most judgment in some cases. So,
Well, talking about that, I expected, not necessarily compassion, but more composure and more humanity shown in that incident where that guy died at the Kwamina house. I didn't like the way the interview was done.
me too. It
with
was
Kenisha.
made to
I
seem
think
comical.
They exploited her vulnerability.
Yep.
And didn't take a lot
And the
of
wife
things
as
into
well.
consider. Yes, you
And the
want
wife
a
as well.
story, but you have to learn that there are certain things that are off limits, and certain things you've got to have a
It
boundary
became a
on.
joke. It was no longer
It
a
became a
serious
joke.
situation.
And it was laughing at the individual without any consideration for her plight
Now it's
as
become
well.
a trend, a marketing trend, actually.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we have a lot to. We have.
If
a
we
lot
know
to learn
better,
as
we
a
should do
society.
better. And if we know better, we should help teach better to others to do better. And I think that, for me, if I were part of the press association or any fraternity that deals with the training, I'd want to lead some training in that aspect, the sensitivity. I'd want to lead some training in that aspect. But we digressed. I was saying that I've never met Sir Mars face to face. I've seen some of his productions. I met his brother. He has a brother who teaches also. He taught me social studies. I had him for one term at school in fifth form, and that was some time ago. But what I've heard of Sir Mars, the one who died, sounds very much like his brother. Like he was so supportive and strict, and the students respected him. And despite whatever life he may have had, the outpouring of love on social media can tell you that we don't care about that, and we really shouldn't. He gave so much, and he was larger than life. And I wish he had gotten his flowers when he was still here. But they're there now, and his family is hearing of it. But condolences to the Mars family and the teaching fraternity, the drama fraternity as well, and his friends and family. He was one who contributed a lot to culture and arts and pageantry, and interestingly, we're having this conversation here.
He was also a cadet officer.
A reservist, right?
A reservist, yeah.
Yeah, he was a reservist with the
So-
Defense Force. I've seen him in his uniform.
So he's multi-talented, and he really would have been an inspirational person.
A rounded person involved in sports, army, teaching public speaking. I think he marked CXC as well.
Yeah.
I've heard and I've read a lot about him over the years, and he taught my nephew, he taught my cousins. I've heard and I've read a lot about him. Inspirational person in the teaching fraternity. What legacy are you going to leave? You know, sometimes when these things happen, you ask
just
yourself
study,
that.
yeah. I would have thought about it, and that's why I started the pageant. That's one. I have a performing arts company. That's two. So I teach, I give back. I'm more about society and how I can try to shape it, which is very difficult sometimes because, you have your expected outcome, but then you don't have the support. And then there's sometimes when you have yourself, you need the support and you feel so overwhelmed. And but I think for me, if I don't be active, I think I might probably end up in the hospital and no, that's me. It's like we just finished a production the other day, which was April 22nd, and now we're on with pageant.
Yeah.
And then from pageant is straight into September, we're preparing for sports, and so I like to be active because I don't find myself sitting. I can't sit. And if I'm while I'm doing that, I find that I get the best out of studying because that's when I choose to study in the midst of the planning and everything. And so, yeah, I like it. I like the challenge.
I think I don't know what it does to me. It's like this adrenaline it gives me. I've been studying nonstop since 2011. I've always been in the university program since then, every year. And I finished my post-grad in November. I didn't know what to do with myself. It was just, what am I going to do? I had some training I was doing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pick up sewing again. So I'm sewing again until I start my PhD and whatever
that's
that
what's
is.
happening to me. I recently finished the management course, and I know that September I want to do masters, and then I'm studying what I'm going to do between now to okay, let's put the pageant there and the pageant will take that time, and so from the pageant, and that's me. People think that I like studying. I like to keep my brain active, and I don't like to be behind.
Yeah.
Right. I must be able to rub shoulders with my students and say, "Hey, you coming up? I'm there."
Yeah, you ain't reaching me.
I'm
I'm outrunning you.
But-
That's
but-
what you're gonna tell them. I'm
Yeah.
outrunning you.
And so that because I realized I saw 5 of them graduated with degree, and it's like just the other day I taught them, but from school they went straight to university.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that nobody told me that it was this easy. But then again, it comes from, it depends on your home and the
The
society that you live
exposure.
in.
Yeah. But so let's remind our listeners in studio we have here with us Lloyd Thomas and also Alicia James. She is the reigning Miss Cultured Guyana Queen, pageant queen, and he is the founder of the pageant. The pageant is on July 29th at the Theatre Guild, 8 p.m. sharp. We'll tell you about ticket prices another time once that's developed. And the other thing is, I was supposed to ask you before I close, what do you have planned for the year's reign? Like, is there a calendar when you win in July, every month until the next pageant? Is there an event thing for them?
We want to develop that because we were to actually do it with her, but then by the time we got round to, and then the pandemic hit, and then we weren't,
You couldn't do it.
There was limited, and then too with our education system, her focus was on music in school, and there is a shortage of music teachers. And so even if she tried to engage in a conversation, the real thing is that the Sierra Porter College of Education would have to produce these teachers to teach. We have people going to school, and I say people loosely. They go to schools and they claim that they're music teachers. They might teach a child to play an instrument. There is no theory behind it. There is nothing, so that child walks away with nothing. Really.
Or the culture, like.
And then the subject don't even meet CSEC, and the child didn't see the need to, and
And like you said, when you were doing the foreign language, understanding the culture behind the music.
Music would help you too.
Helps.
And maybe if you make it fun, give them Bob Marley to study.
Yeah.
Study Marshall and Marshall, why some people may say, that's a soca artist. We went to Carrie Fest in 2019, and there was an entire workshop based on Marshall's work.
Remember, he started from the age of 7?
Celebrated.
Yeah.
And they go through soca, and you go through this workshop, and they tell you about music and entrepreneurship and creativity. And it's really nice.
And he has reinvented himself so many times.
And he has outsourced. He has all the things that he does other than perform.
Yeah. Yeah.
he has this religious aspect now that he's going with and stuff. So it's more than just a soca performer.
The study of Beyonce is a course at university. Check it up. It's a course at university. Studying how she has mastered taking over management from her dad and developed herself into who she is with very little media interactions.
Yeah.
It's a full course. Yeah. And I think several universities, in fact. Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Queen bee.
Queen bee, Queen
And there are a lot you
me.
can learn from these people. So I'd just like to share the theme. I know that I didn't. The theme of this year, it's the entrepreneurial advancement of women in a culturally diverse society.
Excellent.
And so that's the theme that we're working with. And so we'll have a lot of business challenges and, of course, women empowerment mixed with culture.
So come out July 29th, 8 p.m. at the Theatre Guild and watch these beautiful 7 talented women participate in, this is the inaugural post-pandemic
Correct. We're coming back and we're coming
Miss
back
Culture
stronger.
Guyana
Correct.
pageant. Yes.
I have
Lloyd,
to give up my crown. Sadly.
you're crying to give up. Keep it. They should get a new crown for post-pandemic.
It's a new crown every time. And even to the crown has a significance because the crown has a name. It is the Nikita Luke's Crown of Honor. And that is from Nikita Luke, somebody from the Riverine area who is now residing in the U.S. And she has dedicated her life to present this crown. And so the stones on the crown every year carries a different color. I think your own
Mine is green.
green. We had the red, we had the gold, the Guyana flag colors. So I
And
think
this
now
one is black.
it's supposed to be black.
So she knows the whole history. Of the
Yeah.
That's so nice. That's
So we're gonna
nice.
have the old queens there also, the previous queens, and they're gonna do. We want to do a piece this year, so the opening piece is going to be a parade of queens, and so we're gonna use that there.
The queens are very involved in this pageant process.
I can
They
see,
don't
I
just
can
win and
see.
then leave. The queens
Yeah.
and other participants.
I was never here in Guyana when you had one of those pageants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you're here now, so
I'm here now, so
and then you know
I want to
you've-
see it.
You've offered to assist with our
Yeah, man, shout
entrepreneurs.
anytime. I did
Yeah.
a talented teen pageant. Not did it like performed, but I was on the committee for planning and executing, and I taught them the public speaking, communications,
Because that's
and,
important.
yes, etiquette. So
That's
I did
important.
that, and I learned to walk.
Okay.
Just
Thank you.
observing
Well, you
them
know-
being trained.
Oh, you learn
Yes.
to walk in heels.
Yeah, I'm walking like a queen. In
Oh, okay.
Head held high.
So we want to thank you for joining us tonight. You were listening to Lloyd Thomas, and we also have Alicia James talking about the Miss Culture Guyana pageant. Again, it is on the 29th of July, 8 p.m. at the Theatre Guild. Thank you so much. And we've got our next set of guests just about to usher them in tonight. We're going to be talking full pageantry, so stay tuned to the Women Empowerment Program on 99.7 FM.
Welcome to Talk Tax. My name is Carolita Edwards. Our program this week will outline to you the importance of paying taxes and filing your tax returns on time.
Need to apply for a taxpayer identification number or TIN from the GRA? Here is what you'll need: ID, passport or affidavit of identity, and proof of address. This can be a utility or internet bill, renter's receipt, or a mail bearing GPO's official stamp. Provide the original and copy of these along with the completed application form. It costs $1,000 for a new TIN and $2,000 to reprint a lost or damaged TIN. GRA, your partner in development.
Once you're earning income, you are obligated to pay taxes. This is in keeping with the Income Tax Act, Chapter 80101. If employed, your employer is tasked with the responsibility of deducting and remitting the taxes on your behalf. On the other hand, if you are self-employed, you are responsible for remitting your taxes to the GRA by the stipulated deadline. An individual can determine their tax payable by applying the single tax rate of 28% or the dual rates of 28 and 40% where applicable to their chargeable income. The submission of tax returns and payment of taxes is of utmost importance since it allows individuals to become tax compliant. Being tax compliant enables an individual or company to obtain a certificate of compliance quickly and with ease. The taxes we pay help to foster our country's economic growth, provide healthcare, education, infrastructure, and other public goods and services to its citizens. Therefore, taxpayers must be aware of their tax obligations and must understand that it is the moral and social duty of every responsible citizen of a country to pay their fair share of tax. The GRA is reminding taxpayers that filing tax returns and paying taxes by the stipulated deadline eliminates the possibility of individuals having to pay additional taxes, interest, and penalties to the GRA.
If you're self-employed, it means that you are your own boss. You have your own business, and you set the charges for the goods and services you provide. As a self-employed person, you are assessed for income tax based on your chargeable income. That is, the amount remaining after expenses are reclaimed. Therefore, when submitting an income tax return for year of assessment 2023, you must submit the following: income and expenditure or profit and loss statement, balance sheet of assets and liabilities, loss schedule if applicable, wear and tear schedule if applicable, certificate of deduction, that is, set-off letter or certificate, such as a coal board letter or 2% withholding certificate if applicable. April 30 is the due date for the submission of tax returns and the payment of taxes due and outstanding. For more information, contact GRA's Tax Advisory Services, 227-6060, extension 8000.
Talking about pageants. Recently we had the Miss India Guyana pageant where 4 persons copped varying titles. Martina, did you manage to catch that? Yeah, you did? What did you think?
On social media.
Yes,
not
me
the
too,
actual present, not actually being physically there.
All right, so for those of you who don't know, the India Guyana pageant, Hashim Ali and his wife Melissa Pratap Ali are the proud owners, and the owners of the franchise. So the recent pageant saw a packed audience at the Princess Ramada Hotel, where contestants competed for the titles of Miss Teen, Miss India Guyana, Mr. India Guyana, and Mrs. India Guyana. The new title holders include Neetu Lal, who is the Miss Teen India Guyana, Aruna Suktio, Miss India Guyana, Anthony Singh, Mr. India Guyana, and Rihanna Arakan, Mrs. India Guyana. The winners of the various categories will represent Guyana at the international pageant later in the year and will feature contestants from around the world. Right now, we have these stunning people in studio with us. And guys, how are you feeling to be here right now?
Well, we're super grateful. So far, literally grateful for everything. So we're super happy to be here.
All right, we're glad to have you. Now, in case you didn't recognize that voice, that is Miss Rihanna Arakan, Mrs. Rihanna Arakan. She's also popular on Facebook, on TikTok. She's popular, okay? She's you know her at Martina. You don't know everybody, so.
I've seen the social media things, but you know me on TikTok.
All right, so before we get into the actual questioning and asking them, what they thought of the pageant and their process and everything else, let's talk a bit about our guests. So let's start with our youngest guest, Miss Neetu Lal. At just 17 years old, Neetu is already making waves as Miss Teen India Guyana 2023. She comes from a humble middle-class family on the West Bank. Neetu graduated from West Demerara Secondary School with an impressive 14 subjects at CXC. Despite her previous shyness, I think this is a trend of shy people entering pageants.
Using pageants to okay, I'm going to be an extrovert now.
Right? She's now a confident dancer, singer, and poet, and a member of three non-profit organizations advocating for mental health illnesses. That's great. That's impressive. Neetu's passion for helping others was sparked by her experiences attending the Radha Krishna Mandir in Coglan Dam, which allowed her to step out of her comfort zone. I used to be in Coglan Dam a lot. Wow. Anyways, girl.
Say goodnight to your listeners. Your listeners, they're tuned in all for you.
All right, so
so this is Neetu. Yeah, go ahead. Say goodnight to the listeners.
Good night, everyone. Neetu Lal here. So big shout out to the Radha Krishna Mandir. Y'all know I mentioned y'all, right?
Yeah.
All right. We also have Miss Aruna Sukhdeo. Aruna Sukhdeo is the reigning Miss India Guyana 2023, a title she earned at the age of 20. That is impressive. A talented student, Aruna attended President's College and graduated with 10 grade 1s, 1 grade 2 and 1 grade 3. She's currently a third-year UG student studying for a bachelor's degree in business economics. Oh my gosh, more numbers. Impressive. And works at Trans-Guyana Airways. In her free time, Aruna enjoys reading, singing, songwriting, and creating content. Awesome. I love creating content as well. She's a strong believer in the power of hard work and dedication and encourages young people to chase after their dreams. Awesome. Go ahead and say hi, Aruna.
Hi, everyone.
Let's turn up the mic levels.
All right. Okay, Martina thought you guys weren't hearing properly.
Yeah, Sammy is saying that he's not hearing quite clearly. So he's
maybe as you guys are speaking, just
come
pull
closer
the mic
to the microphones.
Pull the mic towards you as you
yes.
speak. All right. So we're gonna move on to Rihanna. Now, Miss Famous Rihanna Arakan. Rihanna was born to dedicated parents Raymond and Sandra in the city of Georgetown. Okay, this seems very much like a bio picture. All right, so we're going. As the reigning Mrs. India Guyana 2023, Rihanna is a mother of 2 beautiful girls. She's an influencer and a businesswoman. She's passionate about family, friends, compassion, resilience, and devotion, and advocates for period poverty, women empowerment. Good thing we have you on this program, and cultural promotion. Rihanna believes that with the right motivation, hard work, and dedication, anything is possible. She encourages young people to focus on their academics and pursue their dreams. One of her favorite quotes is, "Life is a dance of time and energy. Coordinating both well is the key to a successful life," by Sadhguru. So, Martina, why don't you introduce the only male here?
I knew you would have done that, right?
Yes.
All right, so it's Mr. Anthony Singh.
Wait, we didn't give Rihanna a chance to say hi, girl. Go ahead.
Hey, good night, everyone.
Good. So Anthony Singh was born in 2000. Guess his age. Yes, he's going to be 23 on November 17th. And his name Singh means lion, a symbol of his great strength, courage, and leadership, which he says reflects perfectly in his personality. As the youngest of 4 children, Anthony said he was carefully nurtured with a functioning moral compass. Oh my, can you share that compass? He's hardworking, kind, loving, and patient, and this has helped him develop lasting friendships and relationships. Anthony's passion for cricket has given him the opportunity to represent his school locally and internationally. And Anthony is currently pursuing a Bachelor's of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, to fulfill his dream of becoming a doctor. Anthony is excited to build his platform on health and fitness and is proud to maintain a connection to his Indian heritage. Anthony, welcome to the Women Empowerment Program.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here.
You're most welcome.
All right, guys. So how do you feel? The competition has ended. How do you feel right now? Let's start with Aruna.
Well, I feel it is a very interesting journey, and I cannot wait to represent my beautiful country in the motherland. I think there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and once we get it in, we will be bringing home those international titles.
Awesome, awesome. I love the confidence.
Drum roll.
Rihanna?
Yeah, so the competition is over now, and basically more of the hardest part is now starting for us, because we are representing Guyana internationally, and of course we want to do our country proud. So we're gonna say that the journey has now begun for us.
All right, Neetu?
As Rihanna would have mentioned, the journey has indeed just begun. One would have ended, and now another has begun. I truly believe that we are capable of bringing that crown home.
I believe
for
so.
all the
Right.
categories.
Yes.
I know we're gonna put in the work. We're gonna get out there, and we're gonna make Guyana proud.
Awesome. I love the confidence. Anthony?
For me, I think I'm excited that it's been done. It was a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication through the past couple of weeks, but a lot of eyes are on us now, and we, of course, would have advocated for various platforms. For me, health and fitness. And so I think I have a lot of work more to do as not only Mr. India Guyana, but just to be a decent human being and ensure that persons know about the importance of health and fitness.
How come the ladies have a crown and you don't get like a gold bracelet or, something, a turban with lots of diamonds?
I guess we'll have to talk to our directors, Hashim and Mel Ali.
Yeah, they can just walk around with their crowns and everybody would know Miss India something. But you need a crown, something, right? We'll advocate for it.
Yes, we'll advocate for
like a
it.
big watch or, the turban with a big diamond in the center.
No, it looked good. Really, honestly, yep. So, guys, what inspired you to participate in this pageant? Like, is this something you always wanted to do, and now you got the opportunity? Let's start with Anthony.
To be honest, no, it's not something that I saw myself doing. I had a lot of encouragement from my friends, from my family members, and I just felt like it's something else that I can do. Being a medical student, you're very busy all the time, and I also play sports. And I always believe that you need to find balance in everything that you do. And a pageant is a good way to bring balance to your life. It helps you to grow in so many ways. And I think that's been the biggest thing that motivated me, the personal growth that would come from it, as well as being a voice and an inspiration to other persons.
But did you expect that going into the pageant? Did you know what to expect or had an idea? How did they motivate you? You just said, wow, you look like a Shah Rukh Khan vibe?
That's a good question. I think I had no expectations prior. I just thought that, okay, this would be a nice way for me to go out and show the talents that I have, and I guess show my looks as well.
But your face seems familiar. Which school did you go to?
I attended Queen's College.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The Lichter page, the Lichter
yes,
Live.
the
Yes,
Lichter
yes,
Live,
yes. I've been seeing it all week.
Oh, yes. So you've probably seen me from there. Yes.
Yes,
And so
like you say,
I had no
looks.
prior expectations, but I just felt like it's something that would help me grow. Yeah.
Okay. Neetu, what about you?
Well, I was the shy girl in school. Nobody expected that I would be standing on a national stage today.
And you talk about dancing. How long
Yeah.
have you been dancing?
It's been since 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it helps, it helps build your confidence.
It really does.
Because the audience becomes invisible. And you
Yes.
do so much and you were having fun and you're not thinking about who's out there. So perhaps you were preparing for this all the time when you started dancing.
I guess so.
Rihanna can tell you a lot about that. So I've known Rihanna for a while. And she probably started dancing before she could walk.
Yes.
That's
Rihanna,
true,
why
right?
did you join the pageant?
So, I mean, we've been in the entertainment business for years, and, pageantry is just something I've always wanted to do. So, I just went ahead. I've been procrastinating it for so long. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it. Like, I believed in myself, and I went for it.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right, let's hear from
Aruna.
Aruna now.
So, I always wanted to get into pageantry. Like, growing up, 8-year-old me would be so proud. But I never thought I would get into pageantry just yet at the age of 20. I was thinking maybe 25. But the reason why I joined pageantry was to challenge myself, to get out of my comfort zone, and to create a voice that I can use in society.
Okay. And what have you been using that voice to do?
Well, my platform throughout pageant has been mental health awareness, focusing more on depression and depression among young adults. Because coming out of high school, you're in a dilemma. Do you continue studying, or do you throw yourself into the world of work? And with that, it can get very frustrating. Some young adults, they go down the road of depression, and that can eventually lead to suicide. And I believe, like, if we take a more stand with our mental health and check in on our youths, we will be able to know how they're feeling and able to limit depression in our country.
So what sort of work do you do in your community or in your groups or even on a national level with respect to mental health?
Well, recently I started planning on what to do exactly. So I plan to take it back to my high school that I graduated to implement some sort of mental health program, and back when I get to work to implement that program there, because at my work environment there are a lot of persons that just came out of high school as well that are thinking if they should continue their studies or not.
Understood.
So Rihanna, what is your what platform are you focusing on?
So my platform has been, even before I joined the pageant, Period Poverty. So there is a foundation by the name of Aviana Foundation that I don't think has that much recognition, because period poverty is not an issue that is well out there as much as it should be. So I chose that platform because being a part of that foundation, I have had a first-hand experience to see what young girls go through. They don't have access to proper hygiene, and being a person who takes hygiene very seriously, I can relate to them and I can understand them. So this platform is very important to me.
People don't think period poverty is an issue.
They
think it's minor, it's frivolous, and it shouldn't
because
have
when
energy.
we think about, okay, it's my birthday, I want to donate something to the orphanage, what do we think of? We think of food or clothing or toiletries like bleach and Colgate and soaps, but does anybody ever think about hygiene products that they're young teenagers in homes as well? Do we think about that?
Even when they give gifts to new mothers, very often they pack lots of things for the babies,
right?
Not remembering that the mothers have that issue of having to deal with the period and bleeding for many days after the baby. So everybody brings stuff for the baby and forgets the mommy.
So how do you, specifically on your platform, how do you plan to use that to have a positive impact on society?
So we have already, the foundation, started some work. We've started to reach out to some sponsors to get things like pads, liners, deodorants, because those things are not cheap. I mean, especially for a poor family. I mean,
and it's every month.
Exactly. It's them. Like a continuous thing. So we try to reach out to villages we know that needed the most, the young girls that needed the most, and homes like we recently visited Joshua's home. We had a little talk about the girls and period, why they have their period, and how they can know if they have an infection and all these things. So we've been doing more outreach to people who we think really need it. And I hope that at some point we can have period kits in school, because many times children go to school, girls, right? And they don't have any sanitary items. And then that happens, and then, they're like in this dilemma, like, I have to go home.
You've seen it so many times in school.
Right. Yeah. So I hope that that's something that I could do.
One of the things, too, I think is good with the period poverty project, which the First Lady was doing, is teaching individuals to track their period. Yeah. Because many times you end up with accidents because you don't know your cycle.
Yeah, that's one. But also our cycle changes. We have girls with PCOS.
Yes.
So those are all things you need to take into
And
consideration.
always have
as
your little
well.
bag.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
little kit. Yes.
Exactly.
yes.
And even if you don't have it in your bag, the school has it that they can provide for the girls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So Niti, what is your platform?
My platform also focuses on mental health illnesses. However, it's more specific on anxiety. The reason being is because I've experienced it and I know what it's like. It's so much trauma, it's a lot of darkness, and it's really tough on the victims. And so far, I have been coping with it by using poetry. I've been writing and sharing my experiences on social media, and I've seen a lot of young adults reached out to me and saying they can relate to this so much. And I'm saying that, you know what, you're not alone. I will be a voice for you, and I want you to keep believing in yourself and believe that you are capable of getting out of this dark world.
You see, you talk about anxiety. Some people say, well, you're 17. What sort of anxiety or mental health issues
I know.
you can possibly have? So what are some of the triggers for you for anxiety?
I know a lot of parents, especially those who are not educated enough, they won't understand what triggers anxiety in their child. A lot of them, they're saying that, oh, their child is just lazy, he's not doing this or she's not doing
Ungrateful,
that. Yeah.
discontented.
But
It's too much phone.
yes. But the thing is, they don't understand what their child is going through. For me, I always felt like I was not good enough. I always felt like I had to get an A, I had to get a certain percentage. I had to always be on top in order to be loved or to be seen as good enough. And I also believe that, you know, our friends and social media as well, it plays a really, you know, a really important part in helping us, because I believe that, you know, when we're out there in the world, there's a lot of bullying going on and body shaming. And for me in school, they always used to say that, oh, I'm too skinny, I'm too flat, and it really triggered me, and I became really insecure about my body.
But you had
pageantry
friends?
changed that for me.
Okay, but did you have friends
I did
who
have
would
a
make
few
you
good
feel?
friends, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's always good to have a support system.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So how are you using your platform to, other than being the voice and speaking positively to others, how are you using it to curb this same mental illness?
Well, recently I would have started my very first art therapy session where I invited some youths over, and you know, I had treats and stuff, and I explained to them how they can use art to cope with their mental health. For me, I would have used poetry, as I mentioned, so I showed them how they can use art.
Yeah, we actually had a few of those in here. One time I drew a teddy bear with the insides of with intestines and stuff. It was cool. It was cool.
That's what it looks like, but that wasn't the intent.
That was just scribbling. That was just scribbling, to be honest.
I'm
But
trying
yeah,
to picture it.
that is it's
It was
effective,
supposed to
though.
be, you know, the stuffed teddy bear with jelly beans
But
inside.
it went awry.
But you don't
okay?
actually see the jelly beans.
It went
but
awry because
she wanted you to see the jelly beans.
it just ended up looking like a
I
teddy
think
bear
we'd have to
with
bring it
intestines
and leave
stuck
it
in
in here. So anybody asks, we could just hear.
I know. No, Jonathan, my son saw it. He was like, "What is this?" He took water and started. So it's partially wiped out on the canvas.
Thank
but
God.
yeah, but that is it's very therapeutic to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, we've had a few of those in here. Real good.
Painting.
Real good
Did
stuff.
henna as well.
Yeah, yes. Very
So
therapeutic.
Anthony, what's your platform? You said you're doing health and fitness, but how are you using that in your work that you do, and how do you put it into the society?
Okay. For me, well, I'm a medical student, and you know, promoting health is something that we do every single day of our lives, and as well, health goes along well with fitness. I believe here in Guyana, health has always been an issue because we have a lot of false beliefs in certain things, and simply people are just not well educated on small things like high blood pressure or diabetes.
It's the same
things
two
that
things I was thinking about.
things that we face every day. You know, if you go to the hospital, a lot of persons coming, they have high blood pressure, they have diabetes, and they don't know how to really curb these things. We always say prevention is better than curing. However, our society here in Guyana is just not well educated. So as a medical student, I'm also the president of med school actually. And so that is one thing that has helped me to have a wider platform that I can be able to reach so many different organizations. I can partner with the university. I can partner with a lot of government agencies just to have seminars being done, have health outreaches being done, so that persons can be aware of things like HIV, AIDS. They can learn about diabetes, high blood pressure, and small things that can help them to be healthy and to be fit.
Excellent. What is your ultimate goal in terms of your medical career?
Okay, well, my goal is to become a cardiologist. And so I know that's a lot of years of studying, but that is something that I've always wanted since I was a child, something that I've dreamed of, and I know that I'll be able to accomplish it one day.
Excellent. Do that, and we'll be here to see you in
Celebrate
action.
you.
Thank you very much.
Stay in Guyana.
I will.
All right. When you entered this pageant, society very often frowns on male pageantry.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking.
For you, what was your response to that, and what was your thought process? Surely you're probably reading some of the comments that were there on social media.
Especially when you guys were first introduced, there were some a lot of negative comments. And how did you react? How did you address them?
Yeah, I think at first, before I truly decided that I would be a part of this pageant, I also never really understood male pageantry. And it was something that seemed a little bit, weird to me. But then as I came across a quote that I love, actually it's by Socrates, and I'll quote it. It says that it would be a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the true strengths and beauty that his body is capable of. And as I thought about this quote, I realized that this pageant is going to help me to grow in many ways. It's going to help me to grow socially, emotionally, mentally, physically. It's going to help me to be able to relate to a lot of people. And so that is one thing that helped me to really understand how male pageantry is going to help me as well as society. How did I deal with the negative comments? To be honest, I just ignored them. Because I think if there's a negative comment and you try to rebuttal or you try to comment, it gives a lot of windows for contention. And so the best
and it gives
thing
it
to do,
life. People will just continue. It'll be constant back and forth, and it'll never end. So you just ignore it into oblivion.
Yeah, that is true. Ignore it, and then at the end of it, we see the fruits of
Yes.
the pageant, and it was great.
Mr. India.
Yes.
Mr. India Guyana 2023. Fruits.
So I have one more question on this. So pageantry is, as Martina mentioned, is predominantly known for women. But of course, there's nothing wrong with men participating in pageantry. So what role do you think men can play in promoting gender equality and challenging these stereotypes and, the harmful social norms? Like, this is our expectation of a man.
Yeah, that is great. Great question. There's a thing that my parents taught me when I was really young, something that stuck with me, throughout my life. It says that a man and a woman, they might be different, but they are equal. And neither is a man or a woman entitled to walk in front or behind, but they are designed in such a way that they should walk side by side. And I think when the world really and truly understands this, we see that despite being different, we have that responsibility to be side by side each other. And that sets the ground for gender equality. Now, how can men play a role in this? I think men actually has the greater role to play than women in ensuring that there's equality in gender. Because, of course, in society we see that men are oftentimes looked at as the superior gender. However, when we really look at it, I personally believe that women are much more important than men.
I feel like everybody that comes in the studio says that.
I tell myself all the time, I'm a Christian, and I tell myself that, Jesus was born and there was no man, there was Mary. And I tell myself all the time that, women are way more important than men because of the things that they do, the way that they live, and the way that they conduct themselves. However, I think that for men, we just need to ensure we respect women and ensure that we help others to see why it is important to respect women as well.
I hear you. I hear you. I remember my dad, who was a lay pastor, talking about walking side by side and being equal and so on. And he talked about the various roles that are expected in society and the gender expectations. And one of the things that he always encouraged me to do is wear what I wanted to wear. So I always wore my brother's clothing, and people thought I was weird. I liked wearing
Tomboy.
Yes, tomboy. So Mr. Abinsets had 3 sons and not 2 sons and a daughter. But I enjoyed wearing their clothing and even their shorts. It was very comfortable. One of the gender stereotypes I think that we instill in people from very young is boys wear blue and girls wear pink. Boys
Yeah.
don't wear pink. But you can wear whatever color you want. How is it that a color will assign your gender or identify?
Or play a part, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's
So-
I think it's shallow.
Yeah. So, Rihanna, you are a married woman. You have 2 children. And one is, how old is the youngest?
She's 3 years old.
She's 3, so they're fairly young still.
Yeah.
And, like, how did you manage, or how do you imagine balancing your responsibilities as Mrs. India Guyana?
Yeah.
Girl, listen, you could pass as teen too, okay?
Yes.
With your family and your personal life.
I think what is most important is prioritizing everything. So with me, I would make a list of everything that's the most important, and I'll get that done first. Of course, my kids are always on top of the list, because I vividly remember one day I was late for rehearsals and I texted my director and I said, I need to take care of my kids first. I'm sorry that I'm late, but if they're not properly taken care of, I cannot come and be on my A game. And, you know, they're very understanding. So I think that's what's most important, is that you prioritize things, and that's how you get them done. So you always put the most important things first, which for me is always my kids.
So what message would you give to other married women who want to take on this journey, go through the same journey?
So I believe that the first thing you need to have is a great support system. For me, that's my mom, because she takes care of the kids while I'm out. And I think for women who have children, they need that support system, because if you don't have that, you will crash, because how are you even going to think about going forward
And be
with this
anything
journey?
outside of a mom.
Exactly, and being anything outside of a mom. So I think that's very important, that support system. And also you have to have pageantry has taught all of us confidence. But it doesn't mean that we go in there with no confidence at all, because in order to go to that first orientation, there needs to be some sort of confidence within us to believe that, hey, I am capable of this. I can do this.
I stand a
So
chance.
I believe that you also need to be confident in yourself, and you need to want something really bad, because if you do not want it really bad, you're not going to go do it, because I think this person said I should do it, or that person said I should do it, but it's because you truly want it. Because if you don't truly want it, how are you going to put that effort in that is needed to get it?
If they showed me the crown up front, I'd be like, definitely,
That's
it's worth it.
Yes, I believe those things are very important for married women. You know, have that support system. You have to have that confidence, and you have to really want it. Whatever you do in life, you have to really want it.
Did you guys all have the same segments
Segments.
in the pageant?
Yeah.
Okay, what were those segments?
So we had the introduction, and then we had our evening gowns. Then we had
Or evening suit.
Right. Sorry, our evening wear. Then we had our special talents. Not everybody performed, but we were selected, because we had a preliminary before. So the
Okay.
best talents, the best talents were picked, and we performed, and then we had our ethic wear and our final question.
Talent.
What was your talent?
So my talent was singing.
Talent.
Wait, let her sing something for us. Come on.
All right, yeah.
So at the first official interview that I did with the directors, it was the same song that I sung, because it was initially the first song that I would be singing for my talent until I changed it. So it's the verse from Tere Sangayara. I'm just going to sing like 2 lines of it.
Okay.
We will tell you when to stop.
Yeah, we'll do like Simon. I will just later on.
Go ahead.
Okay. कहीं किसी भी गली में जाऊँ मैं तेरी खुशबू से तकरा हूँ मैं हर रात जो आता है मुझे वो ख्वाब तो तेरा मेरा मिलना दस्तूर है तेरे होने से मुझ में नूर है एक सोनो सार एक आसमां में ताब तो
We could let her off the hook.
Yeah, that was
that was
very
really good. That was really,
very
really good.
So
We
I
should
just
let
want-
her do our song, so we don't need
Oh
auto-tune.
yes. Oh my gosh. So we're doing a Mother's Day song where apparently we're supposed to be singing and yeah,
But you
we're looking
speak
real
Hindi?
thin.
No, I do not speak Hindi.
We did so well.
The
Yeah,
thing
she did
is, I'm pursuing different languages, and currently
Oh.
it's me teaching myself Spanish, and recently I started teaching myself Korean. So I'm hoping down along the line during this year I can start probably teaching myself Hindi.
Awesome.
She did it so well. Like, I
So
thought
guys,
she
I'm
did.
just putting this out there, right? For those of you who had to dance for your talent, well, we were on Facebook Live, right? So
So your talent.
Okay, so my talent was, of course, dancing.
I know.
That's no surprise. Everybody would know that dancing is my talent. And it was kind of different from what you would normally see me do because it was a spoken word. And I was telling my story, basically, of how it showed my growth from being a young mother at 17 to being an influencer, a mother, a confident woman. So the dance was like, it was like the steps. So I had like a very sad part, like where I was judged by society. Then I had this
What were you saying?
devotional-
You said you did spoken word. You can do that.
Yeah, so it was more like, you know, a young girl, pregnant at 17, judged by society, who thought her aspirations were dead and her dancing was meaningless. And then I had this really beautiful song came on and I did this really nice emotional dance. Then I went on to say that I believed in God and his plans for me. And then I had a devotional dance. And then I ended that by saying a great mother, a kind person, inspiring others, and paving her way to success with no regrets. And then I had calm down, come on, and that was
Yes.
epic. Yeah,
That would top
I
it off
remember
nicely.
looking at the clip where it was like a mix.
it was like it was a tabla version.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was
It
The
was
It
nice.
had the
transitions were
Indian
good.
touch. Yeah.
Please send me that video. We'll post it on our page.
Where did you learn to dance? Where do you dance?
So basically, let me just put it out there. I am not a trained dancer. I've never been to like a dancing school. So growing up, I love to watch Bollywood songs.
Me too.
And that just inspired me. And then I would, find myself dancing in front of the mirror when I was little. And that's
making the moves and
basically,
stuff.
so basically I was self-taught at a very young age. It was just something that
So
I
you know
loved.
Chaya on the train?
Oh yeah, of course.
Who doesn't know that?
Who
Like I could do
doesn't?
that from start to finish, including the male parts.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that was basically what it was about.
What about you, Netu?
So I did a dramatic poetry about anxiety, and what it does, it brought out a lot of my experiences, and the reason I had done that was to inspire and educate others on the topic.
So,
Okay, we're ready for your
the
poem now.
stage is yours. Countdown 3, 2, 1.
Go
You want me
ahead.
to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. How are you? Oh, I'm fine. In the fear of judgment, I just smile. It's past midnight, and I'm awoken by the howls, not only of the dogs, but also of my soul. Trapped behind bars of worry, screams of my anxiety just suffocating me. Will I ever be good enough? Will I? I score an A on every test, I follow every rule, and I avoid being a burden. But yet, if I slightly mess up, they will compare me to the rest, those who are seemingly the best. My parents ask me, what do I want for Christmas? But how do I explain that I just want them to embrace me for once and say that it's okay if you mess up sometimes? In school, I wish they never saw me. How skinny, how flat, they silently made fun of me. A nerd, they would call me. I guess that's all I'll ever be. Your traumas must remain in the dark. Your scars must be covered, and you must remain silent, or else the judgment of society will be violent. Hush, dear, hush. They must not hear you, or else they will think that you are crazy. Will I ever be good enough? Will I? How are you? Oh, I'm fine. How do I explain my pain? It's not that easy, but I'm trying. I really am trying. I'm not a child that's crazy. I'm just battling my anxiety.
I like the story.
I'm not crying. You are.
I'm like
that was
goosebumps and all.
Yeah, that was deep.
And it's very,
that
very
was deep.
deep.
That was very good.
I like the story where you start about, will you ever be good enough? And hi, how are you? Because many times we meet people and we ask them that question. And we don't even wait for the answer. We're like,
You
hi, how you doing? Girl,
I'm fine,
yesterday I
okay.
did.
Yeah.
And they don't even wait to hear how you're doing, because when they ask the question,
You genuinely want to know.
they didn't really want to know. They just wanted to open the door to tell you what's going on with them. And I like how you transitioned into talking about the anxiety, as well as parents too, because I'm guilty of doing this, setting expectations for your kids and pressuring them to do A, as opposed to just saying give your best. What do you want from me to make you do better, as opposed we do that a lot.
There's a difference between motivating your child and pressuring them. There really is. And I think parents need to understand that.
It's something I'm still learning as a parent, because very often I'm like, Jared, Antoine, you got to do this, you got to get an A, you got to do it. Mommy and daddy went to this school and you got to keep. And we set milestones for them based on our own personal experiences and our own goals.
I think it's mostly because we want the best for them, and
We
I think
want for them what we didn't have for ourselves.
And
Yeah,
we were never taught either how to bring out the best in them.
Yeah.
So I like
my child if I'm
like
pressuring
that.
him. Hold on.
I like that. I like also you talk about people tell you need to shut up, and don't tell people your fears and your anxiety,
Yeah.
because society is something that you do, and that leads a lot of people to suicide, because
Yes, it does.
you talk, people laugh, they gossip. You keep it silent,
And then something happens, you're triggered.
You're triggered.
Yeah.
You unalive yourself, and then bam, what
And it
happens? They say, you
contributes to
should have
many
talked to me.
different
You could have
things.
talked to me.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
you hear
everybody's
that
your
a
best
lot.
friend.
Suddenly.
Yeah, and
Very
only
true.
for a short time though.
Yeah.
Because once it passes, they're
Yeah.
like, and if it happens again, it's like, oh God, she
And a
again?
year from now, yeah.
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 Anthony,
What was your talent piece?
moving on.
Okay,
don't
so
want to
for me,
cry.
I love to write poems. So I wrote an original piece, and my talent was spoken word poetry.
Let's hear.
Okay, so the main message I was trying to bring out is to help persons to understand that, health is just not physical. So I'll go ahead and I'll say that poem for you. Health. 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 What comes to your minds when you hear the word health? Is it a state of freeness from aches or pains? Or the inability to catch a cold when you step out into the rain? Health, everyone, has a much wider scope, and it is vital to both young and old folks. So let us not limit health to just being physical, because health is social, emotional, as well as mental. So look around at your neighbors and be mindful of them, for we are all facing some kind of health problem. Health is wealth, something I love to say. And in the absence of health, there's a hefty price to pay. Hospital bills, stress, and the tears of our families. So please, everyone, let us make health a reality. So my question to you is, what will you do to safeguard your wealth, to cherish your health?
Oh
That was nice.
man,
That was nice.
you know what? I've never heard a poem being considerate of medicine.
Yeah.
It's like we've got a doctor poet.
We
That
should
should
have
be
had them
your
for our
title.
poetry day.
Yeah.
We have another poetry day coming up sometime this year. We
Dr.
can
Poet,
kayak.
that's your stage name.
Oh wow. I like it.
Oh boy.
So guys, we're nearing the time to end the program. So before we go, would you like to leave some parting words with people who, may want to participate in the competition next year?
So, this is coming from Rihanna, by the way. I would say to go for it. Pageantry is not just about beauty. It is about so much more. It's about building your confidence. It's about friendship. It's about learning new capabilities of yourself. And, there's something that I learned along this journey is that you need to step out of your comfort zone. If you stay in your comfort zone, you will never truly know the extent of your capabilities. So step out of your comfort zone, go after it, and just put in the work.
Awesome. Aruna?
So one advice I would give to the young girls and even guys out there who might be interested in pageantry is to just go for it. Don't look back. Because if you're going to second guess yourself, you're never going to go a step further. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys with 2 quotes that helped me through pageantry. The first one is, true courage is where you can pursue your dreams, even when those around you claim that it is impossible. Sometimes you will not everyone is going to be your best friend or your supporter. Sometimes you might have no support system at all. But once you believe in yourself and you are confident, you can go forward a long way in life. And the second one is actually in Spanish, and it's no cuentes los días, haz que los días cuenten, which translates to don't count the days, but make your days count.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to sit down and say, okay, one day I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, rather than sitting down, it's time that you get up and start acting and making every moment and every experience counts.
All right.
I like that.
Me too.
Do not allow fear to hold you back, and do not allow self-doubt to hold you back. When I look back, I realized that I had lost so many opportunities because I would have allowed self-doubt to consume me. So to all of those out there, go for it, girl. You got that fire. You got it in you. Do not allow society to hold you back. They will judge you no matter what you do, and people will try to bring you down no matter what. But it's within you to rise and to shine and to be the best that you can be. So get out there, go for it, and rock that stage.
All right. I give me like a whole Miley Cyrus vibe. Rock that stage.
It give me a Rihanna vibes. People are gonna talk whether you're doing bad or good.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Anthony.
Yes, for me, there's a quote that I like to leave. Actually, one of my favorite quotes. It goes like this. It says, "Dreams without goals are just dreams, and it sets you up for failure. Along the journey, you must apply discipline, but most importantly, commitment. For without commitment, you'll never start, and without consistency, you'll never finish." And I absolutely love it because it tells us that, yes, we're going to have dreams, but then we need to set goals, things that we'd like to accomplish along the way. So if you'd like to be part of a pageant, you have that dream of being a part of it, set goals that are going to help you to actually be a part of it. And then when you have that commitment, you have that burning desire that helps you to start, you must consistently apply discipline so that you can actually accomplish those goals that you have. And of course, as I said, without consistency, you'll never finish. You need to ensure that you work very hard. For me, it was very hard balancing my exams as a medical student. You have exams all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of reading to do, and I had to make time to be a part of the rehearsals and the sessions that we had. And so you always have to try to do your best if you'd like to accomplish something. So just, have that dream, set your goals, be disciplined, be committed, and most importantly, be consistent with the things that you do. And I know that you'll accomplish anything that you put your mind to.
Awesome.
I think having the goals, like you have a checklist, and celebrating those small wins along the way to the big journey motivates you. And I like to do that.
I like the vision board thingy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you talked about that, I remembered giving a speech at Career Day, and one of the things I ask students every time I do that speech is, yes, you want to be a doctor, but what are you doing today to get you to that journey?
Mm-hmm.
And once you reflect on that, you start writing those goals down.
All right. So, guys, it was so wonderful to have you all on the program. We learned a lot. I am really happy to have you all here.
Anthony, Neetu, Rihanna, and Aruna.
Yes, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling very inspired. Congrats to all of you. Thank you.
They're all on the
again.
30, right?
Pardon?
Everybody here is on the 30.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, pretty young.
I am on the 32. I am on the 32.
Not for much longer.
I don't know what's going on with age in this room.
No, I'm saying, you know, the young people being so inspired and inspiring and so on. Yes. Because a lot of times you get the motivational speech from people who've lived it long, many years. And to have you at 17 sharing a story like that, I think is pretty impressive. So thank you so much. And thank you, listeners, listening to the Women Empowerment Program. Stay locked for continued programming on EduFM. And remember, tune in again next Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Tomorrow morning, the early morning show with
Danelli.
The New Day show.
Sorry,
Danelli and Dwayne.
Danelli, Dwayne, and they also have special guests coming in.
Yes.
Going
Yeah, man,
through
stay
the
locked to EduFM. Always got edutainment, entertainment, and education. That's where we get edutainment from. For you. Good night.
We're out. This is Ramona Luthi saying bye.
Your famous bye.
When I was younger, I was surrounded by the words of you can't and you won't. They saw a loser, I saw a little girl who chose to work towards all her goals. I am a dreamer, I'm a believer, I'll never fight, but I will ignore. So no matter what they tell me, I'll never hear a sound. 'Cause I'm gonna get up back from the ground, won't let them bring me down. I am a strong woman. I got my superpowers from my mother, she wears a crown. I am a strong woman, I am a strong woman. Now I am older with so much wisdom, wisely choosing my friends as I grow. Grateful for this life, grateful for my choice, grateful I